Hey everyone, I'm Stella. Today I've got 4 unbelievable stories from China, and honestly, each one's more amusing and sadder than the last. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is apparently terrified of pumpkins. Yup, in Wuhan, they even shut down entire streets. Some people couldn't even get home. AIDS everywhere. Apparently, it could be right next to you. A Lenovo electric car suddenly bursts into flames, and the official explanation, so ridiculous it shocked the whole internet. And finally, scenic bridge railings in Henan made of plastic sheets. One poor guy fell through and broke nearly every bone in his body. So, October 31st, Halloween, a fun night for ghosts, candy, and costumes, right? Well, not in the People's Republic of No Fun Allowed. Every year lately, when Halloween rolls around, the CCP acts like it's under attack by an army of vampires. From Shanghai to Wuhan, it's flashing police lights, iron barricades, and emergency notices banning students from dangerous Western activities. One internet user even complained, "They've blocked off the streets. I can't even go home." And an online post on 31st October said, "This year's Halloween in Shanghai feels so depressing." Photos leaked online showed Shanghai streets lined with police cars like it was some kind of blockbuster movie set. At the subway entrances, officers were actually checking people's outfits. Word on the street was, if your costume's too weird, you'll get stopped. One poor student at Shanghai Jiaotong University found that out the hard way. He handed out candy boxes with cute Halloween designs, and boom, the campus security arrested him and reported it to the higher-ups. Online users could only laugh in disbelief. Wow, so in China, even wearing a pumpkin head is considered a political statement now? Meanwhile, in Wuhan, the government went full Halloween Grinch mode. They literally shut down bridges and roads. On October 30th, officials suddenly announced that Li Huangpi Road would undergo 3 days of maintenance. Yeah, sure. In reality, it was just to block people from going to the city's most popular Halloween spot, Ba Gong House. Last year, the place was packed with thousands of people dressed as Batman, the Joker, and even, wait for it, CCP officials. It was a mix of performance art and subtle protest, a little creativity wrapped in costume makeup. Naturally, the authorities labeled it a threat to stability. So this year, they didn't even bother pretending. They just sealed off every single road with metal fences and barricades. Even the locals couldn't get home. One frustrated woman films herself complaining, "How am I supposed to go home? There's no Halloween this year. Everything's sealed off." And the fun police didn't stop at the streets. The education system joined the crusade. A leaked urgent notice from one school ordered teachers to monitor students' thoughts. Yes, really. Ban all Halloween activities and patrol dorms. If anyone dared to post anything Halloween related on WeChat or social media, screenshot it, report it, and delete it immediately. The internet, of course, had a field day. Someone joked, "Of course the CCP is scared of ghosts. Guilty conscience much?" Another said, "In China, you can only listen to the party and follow the party. Anything else is forbidden. That's not cultural confidence. That's cultural insecurity." And writer Chui Chenghao commented, "In China, if you celebrate Halloween, you're unpatriotic. Celebrate Christmas, you're worshiping the West. But real confidence isn't about rejecting others. It's about having the freedom to choose what you enjoy. A culture that's terrified of invasion can't really call itself confident, can it?" So apparently, China's back in the headlines for something not so festive this time. AIDS. Yep, the topic everyone pretends doesn't exist has suddenly become impossible to ignore again. According to the latest official data, and you know how those numbers tend to come with creative editing, Sichuan tops the chart with about 175,000 HIV cases, followed by Guangxi, Chongqing, Yunnan, Guizhou, and Xinjiang. That whole southwest belt is now basically China's red zone. Meanwhile, eastern and northern provinces like Shandong, Hebei, and Tibet claim to have relatively low infection rates. Although experts and internet users aren't buying it, saying those numbers are probably just the tip of the iceberg. Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, China CDC, says as of the second quarter of 2024, there are around 1.33 million known cases. But with untested and undiagnosed people included, it could be over 1.8 million. That's roughly one person out of every 1,000. So statistically, someone on your subway car might already be carrying the virus. What's really worrying? The infection trend looks like a seesaw. Young students on one side, middle-aged men on the other. The CDC points out that sex has become the main way the virus spreads, accounting for over 98% of cases. About 70% of that is between men and women, and infections among men over 50 are steadily rising, becoming a surprising new driver of the epidemic. Young people are facing serious infection risks too. According to the Blue Book of Reproductive Health of Chinese Youth, there were 3,010 reported HIV cases among students and young adults aged 15 to 24, and the numbers are still rising. Experts say most of these infections come through sexual contact, with about 65% from male-to-male sex and over 30% from heterosexual contact. One doctor from Zhengzhou's Sixth People's Hospital admitted that he's seeing more and more young patients in his clinic. He said, "Some are middle or high school students with excellent grades who sneak in for testing and break down crying once they find out they're infected." The youngest patient was just 13 years old. A gynecologist at an affiliated hospital of Shandong First Medical University, Dr. Liu Yan, warned on Chinese TikTok, "HIV is everywhere. You might even have someone infected right next to you." She pointed out that China's HIV cases surpassed 1.2 million back in 2022. That's roughly one infected person for every 1,200 people, approaching levels seen in some African countries. The Zhejiang Provincial CDC also warned that right after the Chinese New Year, HIV consultation calls spiked to 2 or 3 times the normal volume in just 2 days. Experts remind us, HIV still has no cure, no vaccine, and it's quietly spreading in ways many people can't see. But in China, HIV isn't just a public health problem, it's also a social and political issue. Many argue that decades of moral decay and corruption among officials have fueled the epidemic. Recent scandals make this painfully clear. In April, Party Secretary of Yingjing County in Sichuan, Gu Yujun, was placed under Shuanggui investigation, a disciplinary process used by the CCP to investigate officials suspected of corruption or wrongdoing. Reports surfaced that he was HIV positive. During questioning, he admitted to sexual relations with 18 women. As a result, over 1,000 women in the county were forced to get tested, and multiple infections were confirmed. Although authorities quickly tried to bury the story, online chatter exploded. Later in November, after a DUI arrest, the director of education in Beiliu City, Guangxi, also tested HIV positive. Suddenly, dozens of young female teachers across the city were rushed for testing, with rumors suggesting the impact reached over 100 people. Local officials scrambled to debunk the news overnight, but most people saw it as a routine cover-up. Many CCP officials have long indulged in gambling, drinking, and keeping mistresses, making promiscuity almost a part of the system. Media reports show over 95% of fallen officials had mistress issues. Corruption and shady hookups in official circles have already seeped into schools, hospitals, and businesses. What's even more shocking is how this trend seems to trickle down to everyday society, ranging from teachers misbehaving with students, to college students turning to sex work, from officials' lavish feasts to society shrugging and saying, "Don't shame the prostitute, shame the poor." Basically, it's a moral slip and slide. And when power, money, and lust get all tangled up, the spread of sexually transmitted diseases and HIV is pretty much guaranteed. Recently, yet another electric car in mainland China spontaneously caught fire, sparking widespread attention and ridicule. The star of this drama was a Lenovo branded EV parked by the roadside when suddenly it burst into flames and was eventually engulfed in a blaze, leaving behind only a charred frame. The shocking part? Online rumors say the manufacturer, instead of admitting a product safety flaw, blamed the car owner for charging with bad electricity, causing the fire. This excuse immediately triggered a wave of online mockery, with internet users dubbing it a new peak in blame shifting and sarcastically commenting, "Never knew electricity could be good or bad." Videos show the vehicle was completely normal before the fire, when suddenly flames shot out from under the car. Within just 10 seconds, the fire spread rapidly, engulfing the vehicle. Luckily, the driver and passengers escaped unharmed. Yet when the public expected Lenovo to provide a reasonable explanation, the so-called bad electricity excuse emerged. Internet users flooded the comments with jokes. Did someone sprinkle sand in the electricity? Should we launch organic electricity or pollution-free electricity? A staff member from the state grid pointed out that electricity cannot inherently be good or bad. Once it enters the battery system, its source no longer matters. Even voltage fluctuations during charging would not cause a vehicle to spontaneously combust. If a car suddenly catches fire while operating normally, it is far more likely due to battery design flaws, heat dissipation failure, or errors in the battery management system. Nonetheless, Lenovo and some media reportedly organized a group of experts and online supporters to spread the bad electricity theory. Some claimed that certain charging stations had irregular sources, impure voltage, or even too many impurities. One internet user responded, "Solar power from Xinjiang, too sandy. Hydropower from Three Gorges, too weedy. Coastal nuclear power, too polluted. Wind power from the mountains, too foggy. Coal power, too many impurities." Some even joked that the concept of bad electricity is worthy of a Guinness World Record. In recent years, quality and safety issues in Chinese EVs have appeared frequently. From NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, to now Lenovo, all brands have experienced spontaneous combustion, explosions, or runaway incidents. Public data shows that over 3,000 EV fires occur in China each year, and many affected models are still on sale. Experts point out that the root causes are cost-cutting and weak safety regulation. In pursuit of sales and so-called domestic tech breakthroughs, many manufacturers skimp on battery module design, insulation, and software controls. Once a vehicle undergoes long-term charging and discharging or operates in high temperatures, thermal runaway can easily occur. However, Chinese authorities have long treated EV as a flagship industry of Made in China 2025, and to maintain the image of a tech powerhouse, negative news is often suppressed. Many self-combustion incidents are required to be handled quietly, and media outlets have reportedly been instructed not to report brand accidents. Car owners seeking justice often face evasion from manufacturers, pressure from authorities, or accusations of malicious hype. From blaming the driver to blaming the electricity, from software issues to environmental factors, Chinese EV companies always seem to find new excuses to avoid responsibility. One internet user sarcastically commented, "Next, are they going to say the fire was caused by incorrect oxygen content in the air?" In this ridiculous PR circus, the biggest victims are ordinary consumers. They pay real money for domestic EVs, only to bear the cost of technical failures and wild excuses. Last Saturday night, October 25th, a so-called city landmark in Shangqiu, Henan, the Sun Moon River Scenic Bridge, almost became a deadly bridge. Sections of the railing that were supposed to be toughened safety glass had been replaced with ridiculously thin, transparent plastic sheets, only 2 millimeters thick, yellowed and aged, offering zero protection. There were no warning signs nearby, causing a 29-year-old man under the pseudonym Xiao Song to fall from the bridge and suffer fractures all over his body. Reports say that around 10 p.m., he was walking alone on the bridge, enjoying the night view while waiting for friends. Suddenly, his foot slipped and he tumbled over the railing, crashing onto the riverbank 7 meters below. He sustained at least 15 fractures, including the femur, hip, shoulder blade, thoracic vertebrae, and ribs, along with a collapsed lung and lung contusion. Doctors say he will need multiple surgeries and may permanently lose some working ability. Xiao Song's family rushed to the scene and could hardly believe their eyes. The railings looked smooth and transparent, seemingly as sturdy as glass from afar. But up close, the plastic sheets were so soft they bent easily. They provided absolutely no safety protection. What made the victim and internet users even more furious was that after the accident, the Scenic Area, Urban Management Bureau, and Municipal Office all started playing ping pong with responsibility. The Scenic Area said the bridge wasn't their responsibility. The construction company claimed they just built a bridge and it should be the Urban Management Bureau. The Bureau said it hadn't been handed over yet and that it should be handled by the construction unit, namely the Municipal Engineering Company. In the end, no one wanted to take responsibility. Xiao Song's sister tearfully said her brother is the family's backbone, honest and hardworking, and has never caused trouble. Now, after this accident, the family scraped together just over 30,000 yuan, equivalent to about 4,200 US dollars for treatment, but everyone said, not our problem. She couldn't understand how a so-called city landmark could have such a massive safety flaw, and who secretly replaced the glass with plastic. On Wednesday morning, she returned to the site to film. Broken plastic shards were still scattered on the ground, and the gap was empty. There wasn't even a warning sign. People and vehicles passed by, with some leaning on the railing to take selfies. At that moment, she shivered. If someone else mistakes it for real glass and leans on it, the consequences could be catastrophic. The Sun Moon River Bridge was originally part of the Shangqiu City Sun Moon River project, spanning 7.2 kilometers with 14 bridges, combining flood control, leisure, and sightseeing. Officials once confidently claimed it would become a city landmark. Now, in just 3 years, the glass has been downgraded to plastic patches. From the quality of construction to the way maintenance is handled, this reveals not only sloppy workmanship, but also a complete lack of oversight. Local media tried calling the municipal corporation, but no one answered. Shockingly, residents had reported broken glass in June, and the authorities even admitted they had notified the municipal corporation, but 4 months later, nothing was done. If it weren't for Shaosong's accident, this trap on the bridge might have remained hidden. In many cities across China, the no one's responsible situation is all too common, from collapsed sidewalks to loose building facades, and now plastic railings. Each accident injures someone while authorities shift the blame. Behind the shiny landmark projects often lurk terrifying traps, and government departments frequently turn a blind eye, leaving the public to pay with their safety. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends. See you in the next episode.